How hard is it to change EDI providers? I know a lot of times there's so much pain and effort that goes into getting these relationships set up. And even if you're not thrilled with your provider, even if you think you're paying too much, uh, because of all of the pain that people had, there's reluctance to change it. And especially if it goes wrong, then you actually have sales and revenue coming through that pipeline now, and so you don't want to damage it. So just talk a little bit about how hard is it to change, both from a provider perspective as well as from a retailer perspective.
It's like any type of software that you've implemented as a business that you're not happy with, right? Where, we may have done this historically, and it was a lot of work, but it's working, right? And so it's not worth, call it 2 to 10, 14, 16 weeks to rip out my code and replace it. But why companies like Orderful have taken off is because every time a customer either migrates from QuickBooks to NetSuite or NetSuite to Infor, you need to update your EDI information. And so you have to either go through that entire painful process with your existing provider again, which now you have the experience and it's less than perfect.
You know it's not going to be fun.
It's not going to be fun, right? Or you can use a modern platform like Orderful where it'll be at least fun. And so you have to do that work anyway when you migrate. With us, it's about 2 to 6-ish weeks to build the initial integration. So not a super heavy lift. And then, like I said, think of it as around 10 days per trading partner with us to do it.
Okay, that's helpful. So if you're looking for recreational integration work, go to Orderful. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
If I'm a brand and I'm trying to, how do I know if I have a good EDI provider or not?
Yeah, I think the first thing is when you send them an email, how long does it take them to respond? If it takes more than a day, you should ask questions. The second is, do they have a product that I can log into to see the actual EDI data? So if I know that an order hasn't come through from Walmart or the information is not valid, can I log in somewhere on my own to see what the mistake is so that we can fix it and accept this order in enough time before they choose another supplier? The third, and this is what I would ask myself, do I have a full-time staff that is managing my EDI process? If the answer to that is yes, that's not necessary in my opinion, right? I think if you're a brand, you should focus on building the best brand. You should focus on marketing. You should not take those like super valuable resources and dump it into something that, like we've talked about, is something that's either solved from companies from Orderful or is a legacy experience. Yeah, those are kind of the things that I can think top of mind.
So in other words, just to kind of take what you're saying, but reverse it. If you're a brand, you ideally want nobody managing the EDI process. Like you basically want alerts and tools that are going to tap you on the shoulder when something's wrong. And then you need to either have somebody who's extremely responsive or the ability for you to self-service and resolve those issues when they come up. Is that a fair way to put it?
That's a fair way to put it. And let me add one more thing. I think like if your commercial team comes to you and they say, we just got a new contract with Nordstrom, your reaction as a business should not be, this is going to be painful. This is going to take us time. If that is what you're feeling, you have the wrong EDI provider.
No, that's helpful. One thing I'll hear a lot from brands when they are, they get that first sell into Target or Walmart and they're learning how to spell EDI and they've got this list of providers and they're thinking through there. Some brands are very reluctant to go with an EDI provider that's not on a retailer's approved list. And my understanding is that there's hundreds or thousands of people on there, but typically if you talk to a broker, they're going to name one or two that they've kind of worked with. Is this, I guess, two questions. Is this approved list thing a real thing? And how hard is it for a retailer to bring on a new EDI provider?
No, that's just a scare tactic from the legacy companies, right? So on the side of a trading partnership, there's the leader and the follower. The leader has their own supply chain or their own EDI provider. So for Home Depot, and for a lot of those legacy retail companies, it's a company called Commerce Hub, or a more modern version, Miracle, right? They handle the supplier onboarding, they are their essential EDI provider, right? But each of their suppliers has their own EDI provider that they use, or manufacturer they use to onboard to that leader. Yes, they will have to contact your commerce hubs of the world if you want to trade with Home Depot. But a supplier is in my opinion incentivized to use any provider that helps them trade the fastest.